Next is transformation of trigonometric functions. Okay, so for number 1, let's have sine, the integral of sine m x cosine n x dx. Okay, so the evaluation of your sine raised to m x cosine n x dx, where m and m, your m and n are positive integers. Okay, they are positive integers and classified in the following cases. So for case number 1, we have case 1, ito sine, the integral of sine m x cosine raised to n x dx, where either m and n are positive, and where your m and n are positive add integer. Okay, positive add integer. Okay, so the solution for this case is to isolate one sine or cosine taken from the add power that trigonometric functions and use the following formulas. So we will have sine squared x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared x, or we can have cosine squared x equals 1 minus sine squared x. These are trigonometric identities. Okay, so either one of these can be used. So if n is add, kung yung n natin ay add, okay, so itong gagawin natin. First, we let u be equal to sine x. Okay, be equal to sine x. So our du will be equal to what? Cosine x dx. Tama? So if we let u be sine x, then the derivative of u will be cosine x dx. Then we will express the remaining cosine factors using the trigonometric identities. Okay? So using the trigonometric identities, then we will use this. Okay? So cosine squared x is equal to 1 minus sine squared x. Okay? Sine squared x. That is, then, okay, our function, ito, yung the integral of sine m x cosine n x dx will be equal to the integral of what? Sine m raised to x tapos cosine n minus 1. Okay, magma-minus 1 tayo. X. Tapos, what is the integral of your, what is the derivative of sine? That is cosine x dx. Tama? Ayan. Then, susunod dito, we will have the integral of sine. Nakikita pa ba? Sine m x. What is cosine cosine squared? cosine squared x. So, mumultiply natin siya sa cosine squared x. Okay? Tapos, n minus 1. N minus 1 divided by 2. Okay? Times cosine x dx. Tapos, huwag kayong malilito ha. Ganito yung process niya. Pwede na nating burahin sa taas. Dito lang muna. Yan. Tapos, tutuloy natin to. So, we have this. What is the value of cosine x squared? Ay, cosine squared x. Ito, 1 minus sine squared x. So, isusubstitute natin to. So, magkakaroon tayo ng integral of sine raised to m. Ikita. Sine raised to m times 1 minus sine squared x. Okay? Tapos, ito, n minus 1 over 2. Cosine x dx. Yan. Tapos, ito, di ba, ano na to? Your sine x is equal to u. So, ilalagay na natin u raised to m. Okay? 1 minus, yung ito, sin x is u raised to 2. Tama? Then, this is n minus 1 over 2. du. Tama? Cosine x dx is equal to du. So, yan na yun. Du. So, ganyan yung magiging itsura ng ating trigonometric function kapag na-transform. Okay? Then, you can proceed to the process. Ngayon naman, if our m, kanina, if n is add, yung m naman natin ngayon ang add. Okay? If m is add, tignan naman natin. If m is add. Okay? If m is add, ganito naman. So, we let u be equal to what? Cosine x. And your du will be equal to negative sine x dx. Tama? Susunod, we will express this, we will express the remaining sine factors using the trigonometric identities. Ito, sine squared x equals 1 minus cosine squared x. Pareho lang nung kanina. Nagbaliktad lang si cosine yung nasa labas. Tama? Kasi yun yung ipapalit natin. Ngayon, eto na, the integral of sine raised to m x cosine raised to n x dx is equal to, ito naman yung ima-minus 1 natin. So, sine m minus 1. Okay? X cosine raised to n x. Tapos, ito, sin x dx. Negative, ilabas na lang natin. Lagay na natin yung negative dito. So, sin x dx. Okay? Nakikita ba? Ayan. Yung, di ba, negative sin x dx, ilabas na natin yung negative. Tapos, susunod dito sa process na to, di ba, i-divide natin ito by 2. So, magkakaroon tayo integral of, ayan, Ayan. Sine m minus 1 over 2. Tama? Sine m minus 1 over 2. Tapos, x cosine n x sine x dx. So, nasa labas na yung negative, ha? Susunod, papalitan na natin yung ating ito, sine x. Tama? So, magkakaroon tayo ng negative. Your sine x wait, diba bago natin pala ito lagyan ng m over 2, kailangan nating sine x squared tapos m minus 1 over 2. Ayan. Yan. Tapos itong so yan, sine x. Yung sine x squared natin, papalitan na natin ng 1 minus cosine squared x m minus 1 over 2. Okay? Tapos cosine n x. Your sine x dx is equal to basayan mo na, sine x dx. Tapos, palitan na natin ng u. So, meron tayong negative integral of 1 minus u squared. Tama? M minus 1 over 2. Tapos, yung cosine x natin, magiging u raised to n. Tama? Then, ito, sine x dx is equal to du. Andito yung negative niya. Ayan. So, this is for case number 1. This is how you transform your trigonometric function. For case number 2, okay, let's have the case number 2. Or sa next part na lang ng video para hindi maano. Okay?